Hey, hey, hey. Happy New Year to you guys. See, there's some new little features here on StreamYard. Huh. Since I've been on last. Hope you guys are having a good new year so far. I guess we're better than the people in California, huh? Hey, Christy, how are you, love? I know I'm getting dressed too while I just got out of the shower while I'm getting dressed myself. It's supposed to be cold and wet here tomorrow, so I got to go to the grocery store. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, but I'm thinking I might reschedule it because you know, it's about 30 miles from here. And if it's going to be bad weather, I'm not really feeling like driving in it. But how are you? Did you have a good New Year's and Christmas, sugar? I'm, I've been glued to the news about the fires, and I'm just telling y'all. Are you in Texas, Christy? I can't remember where you're from. I know Texas is supposed to be getting some freezing weather, and I'm sure. Um, Let me see. Oh, sugar, I'm so sorry. Was he sick? Oh, Kentucky, Kentucky. Yeah. Was he sick, Christy? I think I remember you telling me something about he was sick, wasn't he? I'm so sorry to hear that. Did y'all have children together? I was watching, I don't know if you watched the Hillbillies. Okay, cancer. Okay, I'm so sorry. Gosh, Christmas Eve, huh? Man, I've heard of several people passing away on Christmas Eve, and wow, wow. Yeah, I remember now. I think you mentioned it to me. Man, I'm telling you, it is it's not picky about who it chooses, that's for sure. You know, it takes anybody. Um I hate cancer. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's just such a vicious disease. What kind was it? If you don't mind me asking. But I was going to ask you if you watched the Hillbillies. They're from Kentucky, and I was watching him. Oh, oh, what a sweet person. That was very nice of you. I mean, I'm sure he appreciated it and was grateful, and I know your kids were appreciative of it. Oh, wow. Wow. And he wasn't that old, was he? Gosh, Hey, Ash. Yep, I think you're right. Well, I just think that I've seen like 3 videos now. Oh, yeah, no, they're called the Hillbillies. It's a family. It's a husband and wife, and they got 2 little children. And I think the wife was in a wreck or something, and she's got some scarring on her face. But anyway, they are hilarious. I mean, he used to do printing anyway. He was saying how he wanted to get out. They're close to where the sheriff killed the judge. He said, like, I think 9 miles from there. Ash, I'm good. Now, how are you doing? I just Yeah, so anyway, he was saying they're wanting to move to Mississippi actually. They moved from Florida, but he just said that it's just not what it appeared, what it seems. And he said the winters were getting, so hard. And he was saying last year they had, I think, yellow jackets or some kind of wasp. And he said the kids couldn't even go outside. And I can't remember how many wasp nests he said that he had to like tackle. He said they were just like invaded. Um, in the summer, and he said the spring, I can't remember what he said was going on in the spring, but the kids couldn't go. But anyway, um, I guess anywhere you go in the United States, um, it's you got issues like where my mom lives, it's like tornado alley. And you know what's weird is I don't ever remember growing up as a child. I never remember a tornado. Like never did we have tornadoes come through there. And then I was living in Louisiana, I think, or Texas, and the first big one come through, and that come through that area, and it wrecked that area. And ever since then, um, they call it Tornado Alley now. So, you know, here we have the darn hurricanes and Florida. I mean, anywhere you go, I guess we're going to have to deal with something. But the fires in California, this is my deal. You know, and it's still going on in Western North Carolina. I mean, they're still suffering and dealing with the results of the hurricane, right? People are still living in tents. There's snow on the ground, and you know, didn't hear anything about it on the news. You had to go on TikTok or other social platforms to like hear about it. You didn't hear a president talking about it. Government really not discussing it much, and it's just like been forgotten about. And I'm not saying, I mean, look, it's devastating what's happening in California, just like it was in Hawaii and Maui. Devastating. But I just find it ironic that the mayor or whoever's over the town, the Palisades or whatever, she was out of town, and so was the guy, the whoever was over the towns or wherever where the fire started in Hawaii. And I've seen 3 videos now where people videoed the fires there in California where it looked like they were started from the inside. I mean, the house was burning from the inside out, and they're showing cars on the, cars where they have basically melted, and that's the same thing that happened in Hawaii. I'm just saying, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but yeah, they don't take care of their people. It makes me so mad. Yeah, and then I was watching Spencer Pratt. He, did a live, and his mom and dad, I think, live not too far from them, and he was born and raised in that area, in that house, and they all had, that him and his family had farmers insurance, and he said about 6 or 7 months ago, I mean, they had had it for years. Farmers canceled everybody in the Palisades area, everybody. I just, I don't know, I don't know, I don't understand it. If it is contrived, how don't get on my laptop. How our government could, or whoever's doing. I mean, come on, this is some crazy stuff. All I can say is, if you're not good with the good Lord or whoever you believe in, whatever your higher being is, you better get right with it, because it is fulfilling, baby. It is fulfilling. The Bible is fulfilling of what's happening. The veil is being lifted. I'm just glad I got my first class ticket on the rapture, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, look, insurance is a darn joke, like where we live. Um, yes, ma'am, he's coming back probably quicker than anybody. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people, I don't know, they're not believing or whatever. They're sticking their head in the sand. I don't know. I don't know. It boggles my brain, when I get on like TikTok or whatever, and I see people on there doing makeup tutorials and trying to push, their items or whatever, and I'm thinking, do you not know what's going on? Do you not how do you not are you not aware of what's going on, right here around you where you're at? I mean, really, I don't know. I don't know. To each their own. Everybody's got to do their own thing. I know, but I don't know how they, you know, can just not even acknowledge what's going on. It's just awful. It's awful. Yeah, that's so scary. My grandparents' house burned whenever I was younger. And it's really and truthfully, it's like losing a family member, man. It's like, so, I mean, any kind of tragedy is bad, but you lose so like memories, you lose so much, in a fire that just cannot be replaced. And um it's so scary. I watched James Woods talk about he had a neighbor that was 94, I think, with dementia. And thank God, he had the wherewithal to call around and stuff and get him out, or because he said within an hour, his home was gone. And then I saw on the news last night where they were saying that there was a doctor, they found her in her home that she had like, perished in her home fire. I mean, it's just okay. Okay, sugar. Hope you have a good rest of your day, doll. I used to whenever it wasn't this election, it was the prior election. My brother, I like laughed at him, and I told my sister, I said, "Man, he is like drinking the Kool-Aid." I think he was sending me all these clips and stuff about things, that's happening. And I said, "Man," I said, "he's almost turned into a conspiracy theorist." And I told him the other day when we were up there, I said, I said, I feel bad about giving you I said, such crap. I said, I feel like I sound like you did. You know what I mean? And I don't believe just anything I see or anything I'm not that gullible, but I do, you know, try to search around and find out, is it, fake news or is it true? I think the reason they're trying to ban TikTok is because we, the people, are actually having a way to communicate and talk with each other. And it's not, we're not having to go along with the bureaucratic bullcrap that they're feeding us through their channels, mainstream media. People are actually communicating with one another and finding out what's really going on. And I don't think they like it because look, there's for security reasons. Look, Facebook for years has been knowing what I've been thinking. I mean, I could think something, and next time I pull Facebook up, it's freaking giving me an ad for what I was thinking about. Sorry, it's the truth. So, I mean, it can't be no more, um, at risk of than what it has been. Our security can't be any more at risk. I'm sorry, it can't be. They said that there's not a home on the along the water there. I can't remember what it's the main water. I don't know the areas around there, but they say there's not one home that, and I think the death toll is up to 5 or 6 now, but there's not a home that wasn't burned down along the water. Um, I mean, you really have to like quit watching. I mean, I had to quit watching the hurricane stuff. I would have to take a break because I was just sitting here making myself sick. You know, and I'm looking at. I pulled TikTok up, and Spencer Pratt is on there talking about. This is before, I guess, yesterday before the fires. Um, I mean, he watched it burn down. So I mean, I know people's got to go on. Uh, okay, this is this morning. I don't know what he's talking about, but the Palisades, they said it has burned, and I think that was one of the older areas of, the older homes. And I saw this morning where Kim Kardashian had lost her $60 million home, and her sister Courtney and Travis Barker had lost their home. I mean, they've got cop cars going. Who know? I don't know. It's just very scary. And when my brother's barn burned a couple years ago, oh, and I drove up on it, and I like freaked out. I didn't even know what to do. It was just crazy. And he lost a lot of all of his tools. He lost an excavator, his tractor. I mean, he had a big fireproof safe or what he thought was fireproof safe, because he just uh moved into the home they were in. He hadn't been in that home probably a year, so he still had a lot of stuff in the old part that was attached to the barn. And a lot of the stuff that he had, got from my dad, my uncle, had given him a gun that he had in World War II and stuff like that. And he had big ass fireproof safe, but the fire was so hot that it melted the safe, the stuff inside it, the I mean, the gun barrels, like the wooden part, was just torched. The barrels obviously wasn't, but man, you wouldn't believe the stuff that melted. Crazy, crazy. And I just felt for him. It was like made me sick every time we would, drive up and you'd see it. It just like it's just gut wrenching. It's so scary. I saw where the truth had. I didn't see it until just a few days ago. Of course, when I'm up at up at my mom's, and I was up there for a little over 2 weeks. Um, I kind of lose touch with, what's going on YouTube. Um, but I just saw her community post. I think where she had talked around. It was around Christmas, and she was saying about all the negativity, and it's so true. All the craziness in the streets that she had been thinking about going live, and like, you know, she thought decided not to. So I completely get it. I know everybody needs to have a distraction, but golly, you can be distracted without being so vile and hatefulness, and the little bit of stuff I saw with freaking Michelle Sabate or Sabote or whatever her name is. Man, that is a freaking dumpster fire right there. I don't even know why people would give her the attention. I mean, she is just hot mess express. Much less pick on her. I mean, she is a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? I wouldn't um, hang my hat on anything that she said or that she did. I wouldn't let it bother me. North Santa Monica, they're saying, is under evacuation. Oh, I guess the wind is still blowing. I guess, and it's traveling, making those embers travel. Me either. Me either. I just see Taylor Love, whoever that clip channel is. I'll watch a few of her clips, and I just can't even get through a whole clip, girl, because she's like, oh, hot mess express, man. Just listening to her, I feel like everything she says is not truthful. It comes out of her mouth, and half the time she's, uh, you know, soused up so good, she don't know what she's saying, and she just, I mean, full of it. And also I've heard her blame YouTube for what's going on in her life, and I'm like, girl, it is not YouTube's fault. It's nobody but yourself. You have yourself and to blame for what's going on in your life. Nobody but you. And the first thing, if she ever goes to treatment, is I hope they can teach her that she needs to have accountability for her own actions and take accountability, because she is most definitely lacking in the accountability department as far as like owning her own crap. You know what I mean? Nobody made her come here. She was hell bent on buddying up to Sloppy Molly, and inserting herself. And she did. I mean, she could have, I mean, hell, she's had her channel taken. She had plenty of opportunity to walk away and not come back, but she is the one that's kept it going. Sorry, not sorry. She needs to hopefully get some accountability if she goes to rehab. I hope she does go, and I hope she gets clean, and I hope it works for her. But I also know that you've got to go for the right reasons, and if you're not going for the right reasons, it's not going to do you any good. So, and how she did that, sweet lady that took the one dog. I can't, Sadie. No, what was the dog's name? Let me see. Jake and Lola. Lola. The way she did her, she ought to be ashamed of herself. But she's not. And I saw where, yeah, I need to address this too. So I don't know if y'all saw my community post where Miss Barbara Brunson passed away, and she had been passed away. Sadly, she had been passed away for over a month before I found out. And I tagged Unitonica and Makeup Monster because I too talked to her behind the scenes. The last time I spoke to her, I knew her husband had passed, and I knew she was going through it uh, with her health. And my mom also sick, and so I just, you know, kind of checked out a little bit. I didn't have time to, fertilize those relationships as much as had been before. But I on my community post, I posted that she had passed away, and I wrote something, and I took a screenshot of just like the cover of her obituary, and it was a beautiful picture of her. And I guess I should go and edit it. I just somebody sent me a clip of Unitonica going live where she, wasn't really coming at me, but just said that I guess Barbara wouldn't have wanted to have her picture on YouTube. I don't know. I just know this. Uh, back, I don't know, 6, 7 months ago. I don't know. It maybe longer than that. She was sick. She and I had spoken. Now we didn't speak every day like apparently her and Unitonica did, but I spoke to her for a while there. I was speaking to her quite often. Um, and she had gotten sick, and I had asked her, "Do you mind if I say something on YouTube? Do you mind if I make a community post and tell people?" And she said no, she didn't mind at all. So when I posted what I posted on about her death, I did that based off of the conversations I've had with her. And um, I she never expressed to me that she didn't want her picture. As a matter of fact, we were even friends on Facebook. She had a couple Facebook pages, and she, led me to them so I could see a picture of her. And she was trying to figure out how to do an avatar and all that. So anyway, I just want everybody to know that I, by no means was I trying to be disrespectful to her or not honor her wishes or anything like that. That's not who I am. It's not how I roll. I get that Unitonica was closer to her and it was devastating to her. I understand that. I did not know that Unitonica didn't know or that Makeup Monster didn't know. And I know Makeup Monster didn't know because she addressed it in one of the comments, but I didn't know that either one of them did. I just assumed that one of them, if they had known, that I would have already seen something. Hey, Ninja Orchid, how are you, love? That I would have already seen something about her passing. So that's why I tagged them in it. I just felt like, she was always, when she wasn't sick, she was always in my chats, and very supportive and very, very, very sweet lady, funny lady. And you know, I felt like I needed to acknowledge her passing, and I by no means was trying to step on Unitonka's toes or be disrespectful to Barb or anybody. I would not who I am. And so I just wanted to put that out there. I know Unitonka had made. I got, I think, a couple videos sent to me. I only listened to one, and she kind of addressed me in it. So um, I just wanted to put that out there. Ninja Orchid, how are you? How's the weather where you're at? Is it colder than a well digger's butt like it is here? Man, those sirens, wherever they're going in California, they are taking every. Hey, Life Rewinded, how are you, sweetie? I hope you're doing well, and I hope you all have a year full of peace, joy, and most of all, love. I'm just coming on here to talk about uh, what I think to be a little suspicious of the fires, and to, I guess, kind of gripe a little bit that, how other disasters don't get the same attention as some. We turn our back on our own people. It's pretty, pretty sad. Hold on, I'm trying to plug my laptop up. You know, never did I think just bending over for a minute or two, plugging something up would wear my butt out. Oh, I bet Ninja Organ. Yes, yes, spring countdown is on for sure. Right, Life Rewind. Did he go? Did he go ahead and go in? Because I have really haven't heard anything about the airports or anything like that being closed. You know what I mean? The airlines, it affecting the airport. Any? I haven't really seen anything like that. It's just been. It's just like this sickening. Uh, my ex and I, the company he worked for, they would give him. He would have like perks every 2 years or every so often. We could go anywhere. They had properties all across the United States, and he could, we could go to any of the properties, and stay for, stay for our trip or whatever. And we went to Oregon a couple times, but mostly we went to San Francisco, and we went over to Tijuana a time or two, and then we would go down to oh gosh, we crossed this. I can't remember the name of the little Sausalita. We would go over the Golden Gate Bridge and go down to this quaint little town called Sausalita, and it was so God, I would love to live there. It was like real artsy, just had a great feel to it. But that's the only part of California, I guess, that you know, that area that I really ever went to. I never went up to LA or anything like that. Wow. Oh yeah, for sure, love everyone. Well, and they just now, I guess, they back over the holidays when I was up at my mom's, I was seeing bits and pieces of where people were being stranded because of the airlines being canceled, the flights. Helene victims, Milton victims, so for no river. Absolutely, Ninja Orca. It makes me so mad that you know how some devastating disasters get more attention than it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. We should help our people out, our own people out. But no, no, we're gonna send all of our money. Keep sending it over to fight these senseless wars. It's frustrating. And I've heard some people that were up in the area of the Carolinas and that suffered parts of the from that hurricane say that you know that it wasn't bad. But I'm sorry, I beg to differ. What I've been seeing, and I don't believe all these people are lying about it. I mean, they're interviewing people, they're showing videos. I'm sorry, I think there's still a lot of they're still finding bodies. Uh, People are still missing, and um, they quit looking for them. I mean, except for these are volunteers that are doing it, that are still looking for them. It's just wrong. If it was your family members, you would not be so quick to, let it be. Oh, I bet you were going, because I'm sure the weather there is every time we've ever went, we would go because we lived in Utah, and so we would go during the winter months, because it was all his brother lived in I can't remember, his my boyfriend's brother lived somewhere close to San Francisco. I can't remember the town, but so we would go during the wintertime, and it was so nice. You know what I mean? It was like you might have to wear a light jacket, but it was nice compared to Utah. Exactly, exactly, Ninja Orchid, and then that big, the yeah, yeah. They didn't even have water, Life Rewinded. Didn't even have water. Some of those towns, because the budget had been cut like $500,000 or a lot of money. They cut the budget, and then when the governor or the mayor or whatever she is, the lady finally got into town yesterday. They were interviewing her. I saw, and they were asking her, "Do you think you owe your people an apology? And do you have any regrets as to the cuts you made and the way you did the funding?" And she didn't even answer them. She just looked at them and didn't say a word. Yeah, yeah. Apparently, they need to clean house in California and start over with the officials. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just that's there's no excuse for it. Absolutely no excuse for it. Especially California. Come on, man. That's where, the fire, I mean, it's a known area where fires, they have forest fires just about yearly. Somewhere in California, they have a forest fire that, is on the news. So blows my mind how when you live in an area like that and you're over, hey, Mercedes girl, and you're over a town or a community and their fire department and you cut their budget, that budget, that's what you're going to cut, and they don't even have water to put the damn fire. Come on, man. She needs to be. I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots of lawsuits. I don't know how they're going to recover. Honestly, I don't know how they're going to recover because I would be uh, suing the heck out of somebody. Hey, Mercedes girl, thank you. She listen. She has failed. I didn't come home until Sunday. I was up there, so I didn't come home until Sunday, and I've got a couple of doctor's appointments, and that's the reason I come back. But I'm going back to the beginning of next week, and but she's not been doing good. She's failed. Like my sister said, she's failed. Well, she failed 2 times while I was there, and I think she's failed a couple of times since I left. And my sister I talked to her this morning, and she had me on speakerphone, and they were she was putting some clothes on mama, and I said she's gonna keep on. She's gonna keep on, and they're gonna put a catheter in her and put her on bed, not let her get up. And I heard my mom say, "No, they're not either." So, oh, I don't know, but thank you. Be careful running errands, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year, sugar. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Ninja Orchid. I mean, I know that there's like their help, and I know that not everybody is millionaires up there. I know, there's probably a lot of common folk that live there that are not gonna, they don't have the luxuries of having other homes to go to. But uh the majority of them, it is hard to you know what I mean? It's harder to find, to feel too sorry for them, especially when they have other places to go, uh, other homes to go to, and there's people that what blew my mind was like seeing the people that were, trying to evacuate, and the traffic, they just like got out of their cars and started walking, and they showed, people in wheelchairs. I mean, people not able to walk, actually having to flee their vehicles. It just, it's so sad. I'm with you, Life Rewinded. I'm with you. I mean, we really thought it was touch and go. You know, my sister and I both. I would go and stay at night. Uh, I was down there all the time, and during the day I was in and out all the time. But at night, I would go and spend the night and sleep in the room with my mom, so my sister wouldn't have to leave her bedroom door open, and she could get some rest. Doing what I could while I was there. And so I didn't the when the she first become like, because when I first got there, she was getting up and getting around, and I mean, she was most definitely not hitting on all cylinders, but she was, doing pretty good for 89 years old and being on hospice, but whenever she got down, and it was weird, I went by one day. My husband and I had been running around on the side by side, and I said, "Run by Mama's and real quick." And when I went in, my sister had was sick, and she had a heating pad over her eye. She had a migraine, and my mom, I took a picture of her. We took her. Mark and I took her a lift chair. He had one for his late wife, and so we don't need it now. So anyway, we took it to my mom. One of those chairs that has a remote. You can lift, it lifts you up and puts you down. And whenever I walked in, she's sitting there on the arm of it, like got her legs hanging over the arm of it. And I said, "Mama, do you need me?" And she's got the remote in her hand, and she had her head slumped down. And I walked in, and she like raised up, and I said, "Mama," I said, "Are you okay? Do you need me to help you?" She said, no. And I said, well, you do realize you're hanging off the side of the chair, don't you? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. I said, you don't want me to help you get back in the chair, right? She said, no. And I said, okay. So I asked my sister the next day, I said, well, how did that, how, and I showed her the picture I took of mama. And she said, girl, that's when it all really and truly, that's when she started going downhill. She said, after you left, she said, I looked over there and she said she was struggling. And she said, I went over there and was trying to tell her she needed to swing her leg, trying to help her. And she had the chair lifted up. And she said, I kept telling her, Mama, you need to put the chair down. You need to put the chair down. Because she had a death grip on the remote. And she said, Mama said, I've got the chair down. The damn chair is down. And Diane said, I kind of took the remote away from her and I put it down. And she said, what are you trying to do? Throw me out in the middle of the floor? And my sister said that was really and truly, that's whenever it started going downhill. So, so it just progressively got worse. And when the nurses and stuff would come, they took her temperature. Her she don't want to wear oxygen. She's on it now. She's been on it since she got sick. But girl, she don't want to wear that darn oxygen, and because she can't smoke. But whenever she gets sick like that, she don't even remember that she smoked. So anyway, I went in there the first day that she got. We made her stay in bed. I went in there and I was, washing her face and brushing her hair, and I heard a rattle. Now she had not been sick, you know what I mean? Had not been coughing or sick, and I heard that rattle, and I went outside. My sister was sitting outside smoking, and I went out there and I said, "Sis," I said, "I think this might be the time. I think Mama's going to pass." I said because I could have swore I heard the rattle, and she said I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to wait and see if you said anything too. I had heard it also, and I said, "Wow, really?" And she said, "Yeah." And she hadn't been sick, coughing, or anything like that to have, congestion like that. So, you know, and she'd fell anyway. It just like was really bad for 2 or 3 days. But I have to say, they put her on steroids. The nurse called her in some steroid pack and upped her prednisone and um, I don't know whatever else they gave her. And she seems to kind of be not in it mentally, but physically maybe doing a little better. My sister told me. So I don't know. It's going to be when God's time, and I'm just grateful that she's with us. Especially when she's like of my like. I ask her every day, "Do you know who I am?" She's like, she's 89, and she'll be 90 in May. And I said, "Mama, do you know who I am?" And she's like, "Yes." And I said, "Well, who am I?" She says, "Betty Joe." And I said, "Okay, just making sure." And then I said, "Do you want me to dance for you?" And she said, "No." I mean, I would make her laugh. So you could pull her at, like, she would like look through you, but whenever you made her talk to you, she would like snap out of that haze she was in. You know what I mean? But you would have to like keep her talking to keep her from going back into that trance. Like, um, Mercedes girl, I don't know if she had no. I would think that maybe she did because or she does, but with her being on hospice, they, anything that they can't take care of themselves at home, they look at as, an extension or extending, and you know what I mean? And she's signed up not to have that, you know. So, and if she, goes to the hospital or whatever, then she gets, they have to take her out of hospice. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, to be honest with you. You know, it it's because I said several times, I said, well, they need to give her a steroid pack. That's the only thing. If she's sick, that's the only thing that's going to pull her out of it. And uh, you know, certain things they look at as extending, life extension or whatever. I can't think of the words right now, but yeah, learned the rattle when my dad was passing, and and I'm not sure that wasn't. I don't know, but it's so funny. My little brother, he's 2 years younger than me, so he's in his 50s. He's not little, but I call him my little brother. But he's my mama's baby, and he's the baby boy. She, 7 girls, and finally got that boy, and he's, most definitely her baby, and it's the way it's always been. And we tease him and her about it. I tell him he's still on the nipple and still on the tit and stuff like that. But whenever she gets like that and she gets to where she's not in her mind or whatever, That's who she worries. If she does communicate on her own without being prompted, it's bringing up my brother, wanting to make sure he's okay, and um, you worried about him. Yeah, do not resuscitate. Yeah, yep, that's it. That's it. Yep. Ninja Organ. I had some of my family upset several years back. I started watching the feeding tube and the colostomy bag life rewind. I know it's hard to see them get like that, isn't it? It's so hard. My mom's always been such an independent. She wore the pants in the house. I mean, she most definitely was the decision maker. My daddy, just was just a great soul, but my mom most definitely was wore the pants in the house, and she's a tough lady. She's a tough lady. But Ninja, I've watched these videos where people were terminal, and they were, at the time that I was watching it, it wasn't legal in any of the maybe one state, that was legal, the cocktail that you could drink, but and so I watched, and I think people were having to go to, I can't remember where they were, somewhere, the UK. I'm not sure where, but at the time, that was the only place they could go to take the cocktail and to end it themselves before the good Lord did or whatever. And I know it's controversial and all that is, but if I'm terminal, I do not want to put my family through it, and I don't want to suffer. You know what I mean? I would, yeah, Switzerland. And I upset a lot of my family members, and I said, I hope that it becomes legal in others, in the United States, because that's what I want. I do not want to, you know, I saw my dad suffer for, over a year with prostate cancer. And, he asked so many times for us to, help him. You know what I mean? And I remember just being, no, daddy, no, I just being, why would you even say that? But I get it now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, Christy, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, if you're terminal, I mean, I even watched this one girl, and she had she was mentally, ill. And she would get in such dark places whenever she would, have an episode or whatever with her mental illness, that she was like in her 30s, I think, and she chose to to do that. And her father, it was riveting. It was riveting. It really was. But you've got to be of sound mind and be able to drink it first of all, you've got to have several doctors sign off on it, and you've got to be able to make that decision on your own and be able to, communicate that. And I think you've got to be able to like drink it yourself or whatever. But you know, I just know, especially with, there was that one lady in the United States. I can't think of her name. Maynard. Her last name was Maynard, I think, or something like that. She was the first one in the United States that chose to end her life like that, and it was made news and all that. But she had brain cancer, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't blame her. I mean, really, who wants to? Why go through that and suffer and put your family through that? Thank you so much, Mercedes girl. That's okay. That's okay, sugar. It was all, talking about anything that comes up. Where's Oh yeah, yeah, Ninja Orca. They are. Um, right, right. I get it. Well, I watched this hospice nurse. I think on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. I think, can't think of her name right now, but she really has, you know, she wants to educate people. She said people need to, know about dying and death and not fear it, and know that, because it's going to happen to all of us. And if you're educated about it, and educate yourself what's gonna happen, what's happening, um, it's easier to face, and it's easier on your family. And she is she believes in it, and she helps people do that. So, um, Yeah, I think you gotta have like 2 or 3 doctors agree that you know, are in a position to where, um yeah, I watched this one and look, I mean, I the ones I saw, they just went to sleep. You know what I mean? And you can't ask for it to be any better than that. I mean, they just went to sleep and they would have like their favorite music playing and they would give them chocolate because apparently it tastes pretty bitter no matter what they mix it with. You know what I mean? No, her name's not Abby. I think it is let me see. She's got long hair. She used to be an alcoholic. She tells she's got a great testimony. Now there is one Abby. I've started watching her too, but oh shoot, let me see if I can find her real quick. Hospice nurse Julie, I think is her name. Let me see. Yeah, Julie, hospice nurse Julie, and she tells about uh, some great things that she has like experienced and seen firsthand with people at the end of their life and stuff like that. I mean, she goes there. She talks about she talks about the tough things that's hard to hear. Um, you know, and it's been very I don't know. I've just enjoyed listening to it. It kind of gave me some peace, you know. And it makes so much sense because when my daddy was passing, that was really the first person that, you know, I had ever experienced pass or, you know, been close close enough to where I was involved or saw it. And, you know, we had hospice also, but this was, you know, 17 years ago. And they've come a long way, you know, with the hospice from when my dad had it. But they told us then, you know, we had family members that were my sister-in-law's sister was my dad's hospice nurse. So we had, you know, family that was involved. And so, you know, they told us to you know, open the window, let the angels come in, you know, I mean, and that if you see them looking off in the, I mean, she talks about all this. When they look off in the distance, that more than likely they're, you know, talking, they're seeing somebody, you know, greeting them. And my dad talked about a niece of mine that had passed away that was in a car wreck, and he talked about her. And it's just, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, really, truthfully, I think if you, you know, the if you educate yourself, it definitely takes the fear if you know what, you know, you're facing. And like I said, whatever your beliefs are, you know what I mean? Everybody, not everybody's Christians and believe in, you know, the good Lord and heaven and all that. I get that. I get everybody has their own beliefs. And so whatever you believe, you know what I mean? It doesn't change whatever your belief is, what you think is going to happen afterwards doesn't change how it's going to happen for you whenever you pass away. You know what I mean? We're all going to, you know, whatever your circumstance is, the conditions and the symptoms are going to be about the same. So that's not going to change no matter what your beliefs is. So if you're educated and you know what to expect, then I think it's easier to not be scared or, you know, and to be able to be strong, I guess, for your family, you know. Well, you guys, I guess I'm going to get off of here. I've done come and got on my soapbox long enough. I guess I'm going to get off and go finish getting my clothes on and go to the grocery store and get some stuff to cook, make some soup for this cold weather. We had a bunch of limbs that had fell. I went and picked them up yesterday when we got home. So, but it was great talking to you guys. I hope y'all have a good rest of the week. I hope your New Year's is wonderful. And I will be back around and chat with y'all. I'm gonna go to my mom's beginning of next week. So depending on how she is, maybe I'll go live. But you have guys have a great rest of the day and I love you.